Welcome back or welcome to the Next Level podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and always brought to you by Apex Performance, the only leadership and development program by the security professional for the security professional. And today, you just got me. I'm here to talk to you about a few things that have been on my mind recently, and more specifically, highlight this cause that I've been promoting recently called Running on Empty. It is a mental health awareness movement started by some security professionals in the UK who wanted to shed a light on the importance of mental health for the security professional and in the security industry. And there's a lot of reasons why there's the potential for mental health challenges in our industry. The genesis of a lot of careers of people who come into the industry is from law enforcement and military, where high stress, high challenge areas where there's the opportunity for post-traumatic stress or trauma and a lot of challenges that folks who come out of those emergency services and military industries have, and then carry that into the security industry. The security industry in and of itself has this kind of like consistent concern of bad things happening, meaning that we're on edge all the time. We're waiting for the next bad thing to happen to respond to that. It's our job to keep bad things from happening, try to be preventative, try to be proactive. But at the end of the day, there's this like anxiousness that something bad's going to happen and you're going to have to respond and always be on ready. And it's not this intense event of that maybe law enforcement or military being in combat. It's more of this dull, like constant hum of like the worry of something, and that creates stress. And then just the activity, the activeness of what we do. We usually wear a lot of hats. We do a lot of stuff. We're managing people. We have other responsibilities on our stuff in the workplace above and beyond security. And then, oh, by the way, we have a personal life. We have relationships. We have spouses. We have children. We have parents. We have siblings. We have all this stuff, and it compounds. And if you're not checking in on yourself, it can take a toll on you. And running on empty, the concept was, of we're running on empty. We're not filled up. We're not paying attention to our needs and our self-care, and we're just go, go, go. And this group is more of a running group that put running at kind of the center of mental health. Get out, stay active. Running made feel better, and I really latched onto that. And so I committed to run 100 miles in January to bring awareness. And I'm posting on LinkedIn every single morning after I finish my run with just some nugget of inspiration, motivation, words of wisdom, whatever the case is. And through Apex Performance, I facilitate a mastermind group. And we had our kickoff meeting. It was a small group of, five or so of us, and we're doing leadership coaching and development for that group. And one of the participants, and I'm going to tell the story that I told, and the response that he had to it was moving enough that I felt that I wanted to share it with a broader audience and bring it here on the podcast. And so, I shared the story I'm about to share, and he responded to me in a way that said, maybe more people need to hear this. So when I first got into the industry, right out of college, I had a lot of habits in college that were associated around, the lifestyle that I had as an athlete, as a partier, a lot of going out and being with friends, and associated around alcohol consumption to an extent that wasn't healthy. And as I went into the security industry and shifted from college athlete to corporate person, those habits came along with me. And what I found was that regardless of how whether I was happy and celebrating, I was using alcohol as a source of celebration. When I was down and when I needed something to kind of take the edge off or drown my sorrows in, I was reaching for the bottle. and it became a constant activity. I was, a functioning alcoholic, drinking all the time. It's becoming very, it wasn't quite impacting my work yet. It wasn't helping. It was definitely impacting my family. I was, married, had a young child, and things at home were a mess. And it got so bad that my wife one evening confronted me and said, "If you don't get your shit together, I'm taking the kid and I'm leaving." And this brought to me, a real uncomfortable moment in life, a decision to make, a choice of what am I going to do? And in that moment, the choice that I chose was to go drink more and blame everybody else but myself, and not take responsibility and accountability for my my problems, and point the blame at everybody else. So got more intoxicated, blamed everybody else, and really got into this dark, dark place really, really quickly that evening. And at one point, I said I need to go clean myself up, take a shower. Um, as I stepped in the shower, my mind went to a really dark place, and I, in that moment, was questioning my self-worth. What am I doing here? What am I amounting to? Wasting all, my opportunities, and I'm just not living up. So the world would be a better place without me. Resided to taking my own life in that moment. Now, just as quickly as that idea of taking my life came into my mind, it was replaced by a voice, a different thought. Calmness came over me, and the words I heard in my head were, "Get up. You're not done." See, when I was grappling with my self-identity and specifically contemplating committing suicide that very night, I dropped to the ground and kind of became overwhelmed with the moment. And that voice, that thought, "Get up, you're not done." I mean, tears started flowing down my face. I immediately understood that I had a place here, that I was worth something, that I had a lot of opportunity in front of me, and I needed to not waste any of it, not waste a single day. And in that moment, I made the decision, never drinking again. That was January 23rd, 2011, 13 years ago this week. And my life has changed dramatically since then. And the next day I went to my wife and said, "Yeah, I'm changing. I'm never going to drink again. I'm going to figure this out. Let me prove it to you that I can do this." And one of the things that gave me strength during that time was finding running. So I ended up signing up for a marathon. And one might say I traded one addiction for the other. I jumped right in, started running, and been running almost every day ever since for the last 13 years. Having that physical outlet, that other activity that not just like gave me something to do, but filled me up inside in a positive way, gave me that, the dopamine of running, and that release that I needed. It saved my life. I truly believe that the clarity in that moment. I'm a person of faith, and so I believe that that was a faithful intervention on my part to say, "Get up, you're not done yet. You have work to do, not just on myself, but I can make an impact on the world. There's a higher calling for the things that I can accomplish in this life." And I spent the last 13 years trying to do that. I'm not perfect. I still work with coaches. I read every day. I'm trying to get better, still working to get it right. And it's been a journey, and it hasn't been an easy one. Those 13 years have not been easy. We went from one, on a personal level, my wife and I relationship continues to grow, and it's the best it's ever been. Went from one kid to two to three to four. That adds its own challenge and complexities. I completely changed. At that moment, I was failing as a security supervisor at a guard services company, And, from then, I go look at my LinkedIn account if you want to know the job history, but there's been a lot of evolution since then into what I do today, working with other folks and coaching and leading with Apex, and then what I do at High Watch. All of this to say that each one of us has this unique journey. You have gifts. Everything you need is inside of you, and you got to find ways to pull it out. And your exploration, your process may not be as the same as mine. Doesn't have to be. What I want to impress upon all of you is that there is greatness. There are gifts for you to give to the world, and if you haven't discovered them yet, then you got to lean into yourself and find out what those are and pull them out. Or if you're worried about how you'll be judged or criticized, or if you want to give these gifts or do certain things, you have to silence that self-talk. You have to move past that. You have something great to contribute. Back to where I started, once I told this story on our kickoff call or coaching call, kind of why I have that sparked the journey that created the path for me and my core of waking up every day and saying, I will not waste this day that has been given to me, because I almost took it all away. I was committed to ending it all. And so for 13 years, every day I've gotten up and said, this is a gift. I will not waste this gift. I will make something of this day. And I'm telling that story. And how running became a vessel, a mechanism for me to get up and go and start every day and feel alive and do something with what's been given to me and take advantage of the vitality of being a human being that can get out and run and do things. One of the members of the mastermind said to me, I saw those videos every morning, and I kind of looked at him like, good, you're running every day. Good for you. What is that? What does that matter? Anyone can do it, or it's kind of annoying almost. Like, I'm out, I'm running, posting about it, big fucking deal. But when he heard the story and realized how part of my journey and the mechanism of discovery and kind of, life-saving I feel that running was me, how important it is to not just me as a human or my identity, but just like my life force, that it changes perspective on the whole story and the whole discussion. And so, because the kind of the power of that impact and him being vulnerable and sharing with us on that call how that story, which would be really the first time I told it kind of publicly to others, in that context, and kind of really opened it up and said everything about it. I felt compelled to say, well, if it was going to move this guy and maybe make him feel a certain way, I'd share it with everybody. And so I'm sharing it with everybody now. And I'm sharing it with you during this journey of 100 miles for mental health, running on empty, to show you that I still struggle with mental health, day in and day out. It's still a constant gardening activity. You feel some days you're down, you need to, do more proactive activities to keep yourself in the right spot, to keep moving forward, to be a leader, to be a parent, to be a spouse, to just be an effective operating human being. And we don't need to hide from that. We don't need to run away from it. And I want to talk about the challenges that I've had, suicidal thoughts, that I contemplated taking my own life, that I came back from that I've been working hard for 13 years to build a better life, build a better place, become a better human every day. And that hopefully someone listening to this who might be in a spot that's tough for them can think about that there is hope, and that every day does matter. And there's a fire inside of you burning for you to go on and do whatever that thing is where you want to have impact. And you don't need a journey like mine. You don't need a story like mine. You don't need some dramatic event to drive you towards that. But if you have that, you can make goodness from that. And now I know, by telling my story, that I can create impact and positivity out of this very traumatic event for me, and how low things were at that point. and how I've grown up out of that to be where I am today and continue on, because today's only the beginning. I have, like I said, every day is a new day for me to grow and have great impact. So what is that for you? Are you doing everything you could be doing with the potential that you have for you? Could you be doing more? Are you in a position to help others? If you're struggling, have a conversation, talk to somebody, reach out. We're in this fight together. Humanity is a team sport. And in the security industry, it's even a tighter team sport. And we need to be here for each other. So if you're struggling, if you're down, reach out to me, reach out to somebody. Let's help one another. If you are one who wants to help others, let's create, be a part of this community, reach out. Let's keep developing. You can, comment on these posts on LinkedIn, amplify this miles for mental health and running on empty. You don't have to be a runner to do it. You don't have to be someone who's running marathons and all that, or even cares about it. It's the message, it's the impact, it's the opportunity to help one another. So let's get together. Let's keep moving this message forward. Let's go do great things.